What's going on, everybody? I can't see anybody in the chat yet. I'll wait a minute, see if anybody shows up. I know it's kind of spur of the moment, but here we are. And I got some notes here to keep me on track and keep it concise. Also, the stream, let me, hold on. Let me turn the Bluetooth off. So make sure, hopefully the audio is better if it was messed up. My stream might suck. I'm using my Wi-Fi on my phone. Anyways, here we are, and we'll do some updates on the trial, the current trial. What's going on? Florida Police Accountability, Central Florida, salute all the 1A auditors out there. And, I can't really salute the good cops out there because they're all thin blue liners and they all want to lump themselves into one group. And so when they do that, they unfortunately, inherit the bad things with the good things. And the few good cops that are out there, they're not standing up, they're not blowing the whistle on this thing or any of the other stuff that's going on. The YDC case went on for over 2 decades, easy, and nobody did anything about that. So, I digress. The New Hampshire 9 trial, I have not uploaded day 4. I had a body camera malfunction, and so I don't have any first-person view footage from that day. There were plenty of people there filming. Free Keen has been there the whole time, and they've been filming. They're not, I haven't been in touch with them, but typically how they do it is they will release the full footage once it's done, once the trial's over. They probably will wait until the verdict comes out even. But there is also the Crypto 6 documentary. Go to thecrypto6.com if you don't know anything about that. There's a documentary about that situation where they raided Ian Freeman from Free Keen, what I was just referencing, for Bitcoin. He's going to be sentencing. I actually just remembered, I just heard tonight that one of the people involved in that was sentenced to 18 months in prison for their role. They had one charge in operating this unlicensed money transmitting business is what was alleged. I was not able to attend the trials, but so trying to remember where was that. So Ian from Free Keen, yeah, they'll probably wait till the end before they upload it. But if you look in the description of the video, you'll see a link to Breaking the Flaws channel. Shout out to Joe Breaking the Flaw. And he was there filming, so you can see day 4 right now there if you are interested. It's going to take me a little while to get that footage and then get it uploaded. So I'm in the middle of testifying, and on day 5, which is May 4th at 12:45 at 32 Clinton Street in Concord, New Hampshire. That's May 4th at 12:45, 32 Clinton Street. And this is day 5 of trial. I'll pick up in the middle of my testimony and testifying on my own behalf, and because I'm representing myself, or I'm acting in pro se capacity rather, I will also be examining myself, whatever that's called. I'll be asking myself questions, so to speak. And then, so I didn't even write that down. Then the state will do cross-examination, right? That should be interesting. I haven't even really thought about that at all, but that'll be fun. And then we should get into closing arguments at that point, after the state does their cross, and then if I do a follow-up on myself or however that works, we'll get to closing arguments, and then the judge will make their decision, probably not immediately, even though he's probably already made up his mind one way or the other, or he has his marching orders, right? We will see. Boom, boom. And then an update on the bootlicker case that turned into the fuck around and find out case at the legislative office building, which is actually the follow up of this series of accepting the 27 million where they voted no originally, and then they arrested 9 people and all that. So at this thing at the legislative office building, I had bail conditions to stay 1,000 feet away from the executive council and the governor, where they may or may not be. So the legislative office building is a different thing from the state house, and they were not to be there that day. But besides the point, I was there, and at the end, they were not letting this woman, 2 women, bundle up their babies for the cold, and they were trying to get us out of there anyways and telling us to leave. And we said, no, we don't trust you. You guys just arrested 9 people. And then I called them bootlickers, and I was arrested. And while I was being arrested, I started saying, fuck around and find out. They originally charged me with calling them bootlickers, and then they null-prossed it, and they changed it to fuck around and find out is what I'm being charged with. So that trial was scheduled to start at the end of day 4, after, because they were expecting day 4 to be the last day of the New Hampshire 9 arrest trial, right? The Noble 9 arrests. So that did not happen, and we're going to a day 5. And therefore, the bootlicker case has to be rescheduled. Additionally to that, I filed motions to dismiss on both cases. The judge said that it was untimely on the Noble 9 case, but the bootlicker FAFO case, motion to dismiss, the state has 10 days to respond to that, and then the judge will rule, then I should, even though they've not been giving me 10 days to respond to anything the state has done, they will give the state 10 days to respond, and then hopefully I get a certain amount of time to respond to that if necessary. And that case might get thrown out completely for the fact that no one was there to represent the state, and they allowed the case to continue and brought it back up months and months later with completely different facts in the charges. So that's the bootlicker trial update. And then there's the fine payment hearing for the disorderly conduct outside of Sununu's house, the governor's house, for asking why the cop was saying he was going to have me arrested. He was going to arrest me if I didn't stop. And I said, if I don't stop, what? And he said, if you don't stop, I'm going to arrest you. And I said, if I don't stop, what, sir? And then he said, you're under arrest for disorderly conduct. So I was found guilty on that, and I'm appealing that. I appealed it. They tried to dismiss my appeal because I couldn't file a brief, because this judge is refusing to file a decision on the merits with findings of facts and rulings of law as to why she found me guilty of this disorderly conduct. So that case was that fine payment hearing was scheduled for May 2nd, but that has now been continued to June 20th. So we got a while on that one, June 20th at 1 p.m. if you want to mark your calendar. I mean, it could change, but most likely it'll be that day. And that will be at Rockingham County Superior Court in Brentwood, New Hampshire, right? So check the chat. I know there's only a couple people in here. Everybody's watching the Kardashians and all that. So there are no good cops, right? Yeah, well, there's no good cops, but there's good people, and cops are people. So I'm not an ACAB guy. I know everybody most of the people that follow my channel, and a lot of people left my channel because I say that I'm not a 1A auditor. I'm not saying anything against that, but that's not exactly what I do. And I'm not an ACAB guy. What's ACAB? A lot of people probably don't even know. That's all cops are bad. I know probably cops. I have a lot of law enforcement that watch this channel. Definitely, some of them do it because it's their job, and some of them do it on their free time. I definitely have received reports that there are state police and others that are watching my channel on their off time, and they're wondering why this New Hampshire 9 case has not been dismissed yet, right? So that's interesting to hear that feedback. And I'm wondering why it hasn't been dismissed yet either. Like, the prosecutor who's prosecuting this case is the guy who filed the charges. He's the complainant. He was the original complainant. And then once the case got rolling, he no-prossed them, and he had another cop rewrite them completely and multiply them into more charges, and he's still prosecuting this thing. So that's an issue, and that's why I filed that other motion to dismiss, and we'll see. We're still going to see about that, and that's definitely an appeal issue at the very least. And something else I'd like to talk about that I am trying to get into the public discussion about our New Hampshire governor, Chris Sununu. So there's a serious timeline of events where he appointed his personal lawyer to Attorney General of New Hampshire. No, I'm not talking about Formella. Yes, Formella was his personal lawyer, and yes, he did appoint Formella to Attorney General. I'm talking about the previous Attorney General. So the previous Attorney General was Gordon MacDonald. Before he was the Attorney General, he was Chris Sununu's personal lawyer, right? So Chris Sununu appoints him as Attorney General of New Hampshire. And then, in order to get his next personal lawyer, Formella, as Attorney General, he had to take Gordon MacDonald, the current AG, and appoint him as the New Hampshire, or the Chief Justice of the state of New Hampshire. Chief Supreme Court Justice of the state of New Hampshire. Let me repeat that. He is the Chief Supreme Court Justice of the state of New Hampshire. So, he never served on a bench either. He was Sununu's personal lawyer. That's what he served as, which got him appointed AG, and then got him appointed Chief Justice of our highest court. Okay? That has the appearance of impropriety, especially coupled with the fact that he then makes his present, or at the time, personal lawyer, John Formella, as the now current AG. So he now, as in office right now, Chris Sununu has two of his personal lawyers in the top highest positions of the state: New Hampshire Supreme Court Chief Justice and AG. So whether or not there's any illegal stuff or anything like that with that, I'll ask you, does that have the appearance of impropriety? Because that is unethical on Sununu's part and on the two personal lawyers for even accepting that position. So Sununu has to avoid the appearance of impropriety. Judges have to avoid the appearance of impropriety. You can't even have things look shady, look like there could be something going on. And we definitely know there's something going on, because we know that when the current Chief Justice of the New Hampshire Supreme Court, former AG, Gordon MacDonald, was the AG, he contacted Newfield's town hall and police and got them to create the picketing ordinance, which was used to target our assemblies in the cul-de-sac in Newfields. So, what do you think? Does it have the appearance of impropriety when all these things are taken into account? Maybe some of these things don't in isolation, but when taken in actuality, all the totality of these facts, I mean, obviously, and people would say, well, you're biased. So that's why I'm asking you, what do you think? Does that have the appearance of impropriety? Does that look like nepotism? Does that look like favoritism and some deep state activity? I don't know. That's up for you to decide. I'm the conspiracy theorist. I'm the shut it down guy, right? So, how'd the 20th go? Thank you, Live Free or Die. The 20th went well. The 20th was like the nail in the coffin. There's a couple finished, but like that thing is sealed shut and there's a dead body in there and it's not getting out. So the state wouldn't even look at the judge at times during my testimony when I was calling them out on their impropriety, where the prosecutor was the original complainant. We're filing. So I'm not going to reveal too much because I know they all watch, but there's a lot of other things in the works behind the scenes. I know you guys probably hear that all the time. Behind the scenes, right? There is behind the scenes stuff going on. Like, I don't share. I'm very private. I don't like this YouTube channel. I don't like having to put my business out there like that. That's why I am very private about what I do share. And it is business when I do share things, right? My life is my life, and mind your fucking business. So, but yeah, the 20th went great. We destroyed these fools with the video. So we started off with the video evidence and, or kept going with the video evidence, maybe from the other one. I can't remember. And we got all of the most important details in full context on the record for the judge and the people. More importantly, this trial is about the people and the people seeing things. Whether I get found guilty or not doesn't matter. Like, I'm willing to get a couple scrapes and bleed, literally and figuratively. So if it takes a couple tickets and misdemeanors and whatever, maybe, who knows? Hopefully felonies don't come into the picture, but they could throw some bullshit on me. You never know. I'm not worried about getting found guilty or not guilty. I'm worried about the people paying attention to what's going on in our state and how this stuff works and what's going to happen to you. You look at me and, it's the man bun guy with the beard who shut down the meeting and he was yelling and he's loud and he's scary, right? He's easy to slander. But when 8 other people get arrested, a woman with her baby, elderly people, right? Random citizens, none of that stuff matters. Like, they could all be jacked bodybuilders in there. It could have been a room, 125 jacked bodybuilders, and there still would have been no reason to arrest someone for saying amen. Okay? And then arrest people for asking why these people are getting arrested who didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Right? So that is the important part here. And this is just the beginning. It goes all the way back to Newfields, like I said, with Gordon MacDonald helping to get Michael Sununu's brother, who's whatever town official in Newfields, doesn't even matter. He's an insignificant twerp, right? He couldn't even explain the law that he passed about picketing. Unable to articulate himself. So if they can do it to me and they can do it to those 8 other people, they can do it to your husband, they can do it to your wife, they can do it to your grandmother, and they can do it to your children, because they took Therese and she had her 2 children there and they just left them there. They had her basically abandon the 2 children. Like, why wouldn't they just ask them to leave? Like Sununu said, people would be asked to leave. Why wouldn't they just say, hey, you guys are being, we don't want you here because of whatever reason, and we're asking you to leave? Okay, it's trespassing at that point. But no, they didn't do that. They just arrested people. And then once we alerted the public to our unlawful arrests, they asked questions because the whole room wanted to know what we did to get arrested for, because they were next. And when they asked, they were next and they got arrested. So this is huge. It's not about me. It's way bigger than Sununu. I don't care about Sununu. I have nothing personal against Sununu. A lot of people say, and I've said, he's a nice guy. He's charismatic. He plays that part very well. But look at what he's doing. He eats Oreo cookies and he takes selfies. There's zero genuine character from that guy. So I'm out there raw. I swear, boo fucking who. Pay attention, people. Open your eyes and get ready, because when the power goes out, we won't have this luxury of being able to do a random 9 live and chat back and forth and act like everything is good. So think about when the power goes out and when people are in the streets fighting over scraps. That's what you guys need to think about, and what we can do to prevent us from getting to that point. If it takes a couple tickets and it takes some disorderly conduct, so be it, right? They roll cannons up here in New Hampshire in front of the governor's house when they got a problem with the governor. That's the history of this state. Cannons in front of the governor's house. Fuck around and find out. Signing off. Footloose. Take it easy, y'all. Have a good night.